been asked to kick this off with the one and only owner, Emma Betts from A to Z Animal Care. So I think before we kick off, what have you got with you? Because normally if this was like after 6 o'clock, we'd be drinking wine and it would be great. But because it's, what's the time? I don't know, 12 o'clock?
Yeah, about
it feels a bit bad drinking wine at this time. So I've kind of got a cappuccino and a very Viennese finger from Aldi. Perfect shot.
nice.
How about you?
Got to be done. I've gone cup of tea in my favourite doggy mug, of course.
I was going to say, it has to be a doggy mug with you,
Absolutely,
doesn't it?
no other.
Boring. Mine's just pink.
Matches the theme, Joe. Got pink nails, pink top, pink flowers, looking lovely.
Yeah. Except at the moment, like as you can see, the nice flowers displayed there. Everywhere else is a total bomb has gone off. But these little four walls, absolutely fine.
The way it goes. It's the way it goes. Have you got trousers on? This is the important question.
Like, yeah, no, I draw the line. Like I am dressed, and I hope you are too.
Most certainly, most certainly.
And quickly, what biscuit have you brought?
I have gone for chocolate covered Jaffa cake. So there we go.
Get something animal related, like a penguin.
Should have done. Should have done.
Yeah, come on, Emma. You got to think more about that.
Preparation for next time. I'll be ready.
Yeah, exactly. So, firstly, I mean, I've known you for what, 11 years? 11 years, 12 years?
Yeah,
something
I think
like
it is.
Yeah.
Yes, pre-babies.
And in that time, I don't think I know more of an animal-loving person than yourself. So, quickly, how many pets do you have?
At the moment, we, the family, own 5 dogs. So we have Inca and her puppy, Maya. We have Chip, my little Jack Russell Chihuahua cross, who starred quite a lot in the videos over the summer that we did on the Facebook group. And then we have Roya and Rosa, the sausage dogs. So two little miniature Dachshunds. And then we've got 3 guinea pigs and 9 chickens at home, 2 goldfish, and then a horse that lives in Woodchurch. So
about 13 pets.
Quite a crew. You've run out of fingers. You're going to have to use your toes.
No, I know. And I always joke that you need an ark, but you totally do need an ark, don't you, to cope with
a little bit, or a zoo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, clearly, being the animal lover that you are, it totally makes sense that you own A to Z Animal Care. But yeah, I mean, so how did that come about?
Well, I decided really, really young, actually, far younger than some people might, that I would really, really like to be a vet. I remember going to the vets one day with my family and our cat. She was going to go and get an injection for something. And I decided in the car that I either wanted to be a vet or a nurse. And as it turned out, at 4 years old, little did I know that actually what I really wanted to be was a veterinary nurse, which as I grew up became clear. I took my first job at the vets in Tenterden when I was 12, and I went in every Saturday and helped them to clean the kennels and look after the animals and watch the consultations, and I absolutely loved it, lived it, breathed it, immersed myself in it, and was just like a little sponge. I desperately wanted to be on the other side of the consulting room door, and I wanted to know what was going on, and I was prepared to do anything to get in there. And it was just the best start ever, and I loved it.
That's quite cool though, because many people don't know what they want. I mean, I was exactly the same. That 5, I wanted to be in telly, so I totally get it. But what was the first thing that you thought, it's got to be animals? I mean, did you have a pet like that you thought, this is it, I just want to look after this one pet? Or did you watch something? Or I mean,
I remember having a book. I remember having an encyclopedia of animals, and it was just my go-to as a small child, really, really small child. And I just spent hours poring over it, learning all the different animals, all the names. I just found it fascinating. And I do consider myself very lucky, to know what I want to do and, to feel completely comfortable with what I do. I do feel lucky. It's a very lucky thing to know what you want to do in your heart, and animals has always been it. But I think that animal encyclopedia is probably where it all started. So.
Oh, that's great. And so obviously after being a vet, how did you suddenly come up with A to Z Animal Care? I mean, I love the name as well because it just encompasses everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was the idea. It was quite deliberate. So
Yeah.
we went for an A to Z so that it didn't limit us to any one particular type of animal. Having been a veterinary nurse for some years, I qualified when I was 21, so I'd been in practice for about 10 years at that point.
Right.
And
Yeah.
did my qualifications at 21, and I just I wanted to go further. I wanted to do more, but I'd reached a bit of a ceiling within practice. There wasn't really any more qualifications that I can do. There wasn't really any more promotions. I was already head nurse, and I was busting for something a bit new. I wanted to be master of my own destiny.
Don't we all?
And so I had a good think about what I could do that used the skills, kept me working with animals, and decided to get into grooming. So the practice that I worked for at the time, unfortunately, wouldn't let me have the time off to do the course because it was day release. But Bill and I supported each other. He was very keen for me to follow my dreams, and so I quit the day job, so to speak, at the vets and retrained as a dog groomer, which really just added to the qualifications that I already had and used the knowledge that I'd gained over the years. Yeah, A to Z was born. It was actually my dad that helped me come up with the name. So thanks, Dad. Great help. That was really much appreciated.
Yeah.
And that was about
You've got that recorded now, so he's just going to be like reminding you.
That was 15 years ago. So I started as a mobile groomer, where I went around to people's houses and groomed their pets in their own home.
So I love that idea of just having a little van, driving around, you know, being a cat. I mean, clearly I would be the wrong person to do any form of grooming, but yeah, I just imagine it a bit like Postman Pat.
It was kind of like that, but with a bit more pet hair.
Yeah.
Less parcels.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I outgrew that quite quickly, found myself doing a huge number of miles, buzzing about all over the countryside. I covered Cranbrook and Hawkhurst and Ashford and Maidstone and Lenham and everywhere in between. I found myself just doing so many miles that I ended up opening the shop instead. So I wanted a nice central location, and the garden centre.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't really get much closer, you know, central Besiston is brilliant, isn't
It
it?
was ideal because it was on the main road, and it was halfway between Ashford and Tenterden, and gave me a really nice little base to work from, and was very accessible for customers. It's right on the road, so it was nice and easy for people to find. And
not forgetting, you've got a garden centre and a very good pub either side.
Oh yes,
so
the pub is
now on your needs.
Yeah,
you can be like, quickly go to the pub.
People do. People absolutely do. We have one lady that drops her little dog off, and every time we phone her to say that the doggy's ready, she says, "Oh, I've just ordered another pint. I'll finish that and then I'll be back."
My kind of girl. That's what I'd be like, just going to finish my espresso martini. Clearly I wouldn't be driving, but oh, that's cool. And do you think, because I know the answer to this question, but I don't think that your career is a job to you. I think it is your life, isn't it? You know, like, you know how some people have jobs, and other people it's just
no, life and work have definitely become very intertwined. The first thing I do in the morning is get up and take care of the children and the pets, and then yes, all their needs are taken care of, and I then go to the shop and look after other people's pets and take care of the horse on the way home, and live it and breathe it. Really, it's definitely a lifestyle choice to have all these animals.
What do you reckon the best things are about being a groomer?
Well, definitely being my own boss is amazing. Being able to make the decisions myself of what standard of work that I want to do, the people that I want to work with. So I always say that everybody works with me at the shop rather than for me. We have a lovely little team and everybody gets on really well. But we are all part of a team and everyone's essential. There's nobody that's any more important than anybody else, from the person that answers the phone to the person that sweeps the floor to the person that grooms the dogs. I
think that makes a really great business as well, because it's not, like you say, a boss isn't you do this. It's
no, we all
together, in it together.
Sure.
Yeah.
But really it's spending time with the animals. You know, I do
Yeah.
love spending time with them. I feel like I really connect with the animals. We get on really well, and being able to make them feel better, being able to make them feel warm and clean and nicely groomed and comfortable, and you know, taking all the weight of hair off them if they've become matted or tangled, and yeah, just making them feel free and clean and happy, and you know, to go back to their owner is just a really lovely feeling, and I don't get bored of it. You know, every day is different, but you know, I never have that sort of, oh, another dog to groom feeling. You know, welcome them with open arms and just love doing it. So there's downsides, of course there's downsides, but no, being able to do it, and I surprise myself with how much I enjoy it sometimes. Actually, I wonder if I will ever get bored of it, but not yet.
I think though, I'm exactly so. I have one of these jobs that no 2 days are the same, and I think
Yeah,
that just mixes it up, isn't it? Because
definitely, real
yeah,
variety, and
yeah,
was a little surprise around the corner, and
to keep
yeah,
you on your toes. Yeah,
definitely, yes.
like a virus.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh no, I didn't like that.
maybe not.
Virus, no, we don't want that. What do you reckon? Like, what is a normal A to Z animal care day? Because I just imagine there's just dog upon dog, but then I always think there's just dogs, isn't there, at A to Z? But there's not. You groom so many different types of animals, don't you?
So we all meet at the shop in the morning, somewhere around sort of 8:30, 8:45. Sometimes we offer early appointments. Chloe tends to go in as and when people need it and do 8 o'clock. But a normal day for us starts between 8:30 and 9. At present, we try and stagger the drop-offs because we don't want to have too many people at once because of the virus. So we have a sort of 2 dogs in about 9, and then we have another 2 more in at 9:30. And the first thing that we do, obviously, is greet the owners and ask them what they would like for their pet. We do always make sure to say, would you like the same? Is there anything different?
Do they ever go like really way out, like a short back and sides and a massive mohawk?
We
There's
have done a
like
mohawk show. Yes,
I might
absolutely.
go and get Woody, my dog.
Yeah,
No, actually, I'm not going to do that.
we can mohawk him. Not a problem. No, we've done mohawks. We've done a couple of mohawks for charity, where owners have got mohawks and wanted matching ones for their pets.
Oh my gosh, how amazing is that?
Yeah, and we've done a couple of others for weddings. A little Jack Russell that the owner wanted trimmed so that he had a bright pink mohawk right down the middle of his back.
Cute.
He looked lovely. He did look lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the pets get a nice wash. That's the first thing that we do, is give them a nice warm, bubbly bath, and then they get dried and brushed. And then if the owners would like us to, we trim their nails and clean their ears. And then depending on how much coat they've got, we either use scissors or clippers to style them how the owner wants. And some people just want nice and short and sweet and easy maintenance and nice and straightforward to look after. And other people like their pets to have longer hair, in which case they take a bit more looking after. But yeah, we can do all styles, all shapes, all makes, all breeds, and all requirements really. So we work our way through until lunchtime, and then we have a little bit of a break at lunchtime. Some of the dogs go home. We tend to ring as soon as they're ready, and the owners pick them up, and then we do pretty much the same in the afternoon. But as you say, we do also groom cats and rabbits and guinea pigs, which are one of my personal favourites. So.
I never thought about having I mean, I don't have a guinea pig, but I would never have thought about taking a guinea pig to a groomer's. But yeah.
Yeah, you can get, I mean, a lot of guinea pigs are very short haired. So apart from a little comb through and perhaps a nail trim every now and then, but there are very long haired guinea pigs, Peruvian guinea pigs, that grow literally like a wig. So they have a really big, long, fluffy, flowing coat, which unfortunately can get a bit matted, can get a bit tangled and a bit knotty and a bit greasy. So yeah, they can come in for a all over trim up. And a bath and trim their nails and keep them nice and comfortable, which we all like a guinea pig day. We like a guinea pig.
I tell you, I love picking Woody up because obviously Woody's a Norfolk Terrier, and oh my God, does he get hairy, doesn't he? He just like goes, and I love picking him up. As soon as he comes to see you and being totally groomed and he smells lovely, I'm very careful about where I walk him, You know, I will be sticking to the high streets. There's no going through mud for at least a day.
None of the dreaded fox poo.
No, well, yeah, I haven't had any fox poo dilemmas yet, but yeah, no, I mean, they smell lovely. Well, he smells lovely.
Yeah, so, lots of people say the same, Jo. They say, right, that's it, lead walks for you for the next couple of days.
Yeah, and you just
you off in the woods, don't get stinky.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think there's quite a few people like me as well. What do you think's the worst thing about being a pet groomer? I don't think you're. Yeah, don't know what.
Well, there are a few stinky jobs, to be fair. I mean, we haven't really mentioned it, but there certainly is an element of hygiene. We do get weed on. We do get pooed on. And another thing we haven't really talked about yet is the dreaded anal glands.
Do you know, I wondered if you were going to mention that, those two words, anal glands.
So, dogs have a little gland either side of their bottom, and the idea is that it is scent marking. That's what it's all about. It's leftovers from...
Woody is always scent marking on everything. It's so annoying.
Leftover from their days as a wolf. Not that we could really say that my Chihuahua and your Norfolk have got much left in the way of wolf in them. But unfortunately, these infuriating little glands can get rather blocked and can make dogs feel very uncomfortable in the bottom department. And as part of the groom,
on every dog, like every dog that comes in, is that automatically part of the whole grooming?
No, absolutely not. No, we would always ask. Sometimes dogs just simply don't need them doing. If they're not over full and they're not uncomfortable, we leave them well alone. Some dogs have trouble with them. That means that they're seeking care from the vets, in which case we definitely wouldn't want to interfere with any veterinary treatment. But some dogs just need them routinely checking and emptying, and that's something that we can do very quickly and easily and painlessly while they're in the bath. And obviously, as it is a little bit of a smelly job, giving them a good bubble up and washing it all away afterwards does make it much nicer. Unfortunately, dogs with full glands do have a bit of a tendency sometimes to rub their bottom on the carpet and then empty their glands indoors, which is particularly nasty and stinky. So if we can help people to prevent that, then we always will, but only if people request it.
Yeah, so like grooming isn't just grooming, you know, it's grooming, but you're doing sort of so many hygiene related things as well, aren't you?
You know, health is very important. Hygiene is very important. We can do a lot of things that are preventative. So rather than letting toenails get very long and then them breaking and splitting and hurting, if we just routinely give them a little trim, it keeps them nice and short and neat and tight, and means that when your pet's out on a walk, they're a lot less likely to break one and for it to bleed and cause pain. So yes, a lot of what we do is
at home. Like at home, is there a way that, I mean, are they supposed to be a certain length, or does it depend on the type of dog it is?
It does really vary. Younger dogs will always generally have shorter nails, and it is something that you can look at yourself, but generally when their foot is on the ground nice and flat, their toenails should just touch the floor or be very slightly above it. So if the nail is long enough that it's pushing the pads up, then they're too long. Too long.
Right. Okay.
But yes, you can keep an eye and check, and if you think they're too long, it's a very simple job. We just you can just come along to one of our nail clinics, give us a ring, and we can
that's great. And I'm always like on the phone to you if there's something that I'm not sure of. I'm like, Emma, help! I don't know. His ears need cleaning or something. Well, Woody just doesn't listen, so I don't think it's his ears at all. Right, you had some questions sent in.
Yeah.
Now, Katie Saywell asks, any tips for bathing? We've sort of covered nail clipping. Why it's so important to, like, because I think I read somewhere that you're supposed to not clean your dogs or cats or whatever for more than every 2 weeks or something, or it can't be something.
It's a good idea to keep your pet's coat clean. We wouldn't generally recommend bathing them more than once a week. It can strip the oils in the coat, and it can leave their skin and their coat a little bit dry. Having said that, if you're using a nice, gentle, mild, nourishing shampoo, it really shouldn't cause too much problem. And it does depend a little bit on what you do with your pet and where you go. You know, if they're just walked around the pavements, they won't need washing as often as a dog that perhaps likes to swim in ponds or ditches or go down to the seaside. If they visit the sea every day and get covered in sand and salt, rinsing them off after a walk is probably a good idea, just so that the salt doesn't dry them out. But a good quality, mild shampoo that's designed for pets, because it will have the correct acidity, correct pH, is important. But after a Sunday walk, I tend to give my dogs a bath on a Sunday, and they have a little dip on a Sunday afternoon, and it doesn't do them any harm at all.
Don't we all?
But
yeah, and do you have to dry them off as well? Like, is it, or are they just naturally dry? Is it important to?
Again, it does depend a little bit on the breed. I've got short-haired dogs, and I just towel dry them and then pop them in their bed, you know, with a nice absorbent bed near the radiator, and they dry off really quickly. But if you have a long-haired pet, so for example, a cockapoo or a poodle or a Lhasa Apso or a bearded collie or something with a lot of hair, using a hair dryer to dry and brush the coat can stop it from tangling. But yeah, a bit of maintenance after a wash, if you've got a long-haired pet, is a good idea.
Do you notice like a difference in dogs that come in and then go out? You know, like if we went to the hairdressers, you know, you kind of, for me personally, I go in looking horrific and I come out feeling like amazing. Clearly don't look amazing, but you know, it's that feeling. Do you see like a change in dogs and cats when they go in like and then come out all like? We
see it all the time. Yeah, and it is a real joy, and it's something that we really love hearing when people report back. The best one is when people say, oh, he feels amazing. It's like he's got a new lease of life. And we do hear that a lot, especially with older doggies, ones that they've got a very thick sort of black coat. Jasper, an older Cocker Spaniel, springs to mind at this point. He was having some trouble with his ticker. He was having some trouble with his breathing. And he had a very long, thick, black, shaggy coat in hot weather over the summer. And his mum did the best thing and brought him down, and she let us clip him really short. We really, really stripped him back really short. And she wrote us a letter a few days later, wrote us a little message just to say thank you, because he was like a different dog. He was happy. She said he's like a puppy again. His breathing improved. He wasn't panting all the time. Yeah, she was super, super pleased. So yes, definitely. They do often go out like a spring lamb and feel great, relieved of all the heavy coat and all the knots and the grease. And yeah, it's a common thing that we see, and I really like it. So
it's so important, isn't it? Especially through lockdown, when you think, you know, we can't really go out at the moment, and you know, dogs and pets are so important, aren't they? Yes. And I think grooming as well, you know, if you've got a happy dog as well, I mean, they are family members, aren't they? So
it's a great time for bonding as well, I have to say. You know, it makes you slow down and stop, and it makes you do something with your pet that bonds you, because initially when you put your pet in the bath, they might not be over keen. But, you know, if you do lots of reassurance and lots of talking and stroking and just quietly get on with it, and then, you know, nice warm soapy bubbles and a warm towel and a bit of a brush through, it's a real time to bond and spend a bit of time with each other, just doing something a bit different. And then they smell lovely and you want to be with them, which always helps. So bit of sofa time.
Wins all around.
Yes, definitely.
Right, the next question, ear cleaning.
Yeah.
How does it need to be done?
So ears, dogs' ears can produce wax, just like people's ears can, and some breeds are more prone to this than others. So if you have a Spaniel or a Labrador, they are quite likely to have waxy ears. So I would always say check, and by checking I mean look. So lift your dog's ear and have a look inside, and if there's any brown or if there's any bad smells, their ears can smell a bit musty and a bit waxy. If there's any bad smells, then I would say yes, absolutely, you can get ear cleaning solution, which you use on cotton wool, or you can get ear cleaning wipes, which are just like baby wipes, just like wet wipes, and you just pop them over the end of your finger and use them to wipe inside the ears. Some dogs' ears are immaculate. My two little sausage dogs, I check their ears every Sunday when I bath them. There's no wax, there's no smell, there's no build up, there's nothing. They're just lovely and pink and clean and clear. I wouldn't worry about cleaning those. But then my other two dogs are Labradors, and they do get a bit of wax, and it's not an infection, and it doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's just different coat types. Some are just oilier than others, and Labradors, being sort of working dogs, water dogs, do produce a bit more wax, and that includes their ears. So yes, I do clean their ears a bit more often, but we can either recommend a product, or you can go to a pet shop, or you can have a look online. But there's lots of good products out there for cleaning ears, and as part of your routine maintenance, it's a good idea to check them, make sure that they look clean and smell nice.
Well, I'm definitely going to do that. So I'm going to bath Woody like maybe every other week, and check his ears and his nails. So I'm learning loads on this, Emma. So thank you.
No problem.
Okay, the next question: what are fleas, ticks, mites? Will my dog get them? Will my dog get them? Where from? Yeah, where do these little critters come from?
From
It's
fleas.
like, honestly, it's like Woody has, obviously, like most dogs, they have these flea treatments.
Yeah.
If you miss it, you know, these little pesky blighters do tend to turn up from time to time. Where do they come from?
Been of a bit of a rotten year for fleas, I have to say. Lots of people have struggled with fleas this year, and I think it's because it's been very warm and then quite mild and wet going into the autumn. Fleas and animals, they are a thing. They just do. Unfortunately, most dogs will suffer from cat fleas, although there are species-specific fleas, and believe it or not, even humans have their very own flea. Dogs tend to suffer with cat fleas. Doing what you do, applying a product, it breaks the cycle, it kills the adults, and then the adults can't lay eggs. Each adult flea can lay 600 eggs, and then each one of those eggs will hatch out. They will jump on the cat or the dog, or unfortunately the person. They will have a blood feed, so they will bite, and then they will themselves mate and lay another 600 eggs before they expire. The eggs are a nightmare. They roll off into the corners, into a little bit of dust, and they can stay there for a year, which is why it's really important to keep on top of the treatment, keep killing the adults. But it is why sometimes, even though you've put flea treatment on your pet, you will still find fleas, because the products take 24 hours to kill them.
Right.
So if you find a flea, it could well be on the way out, but you might still see it. But that 24-hour window prevents them from mating and prevents them from laying eggs, which is the really.
So it's important to keep up with the monthly treatments every single
month. It really is, because once the problems got into the environment, it's then much harder to get rid of. Statistics reckon that the flea products only kill 5% of the actual fleas, and 95% of them are in the environment. So they're in the garden, they're in the house, they're in the bedding. The topical applications only kill 5% of the problem. But yes, prevention.
They're very robust, aren't they? If there was like an end of the world scenario, I really think that fleas would survive, and pigeons. No one else.
And
cockroaches.
Yeah, they'd be on the list too. But lots of products are multifaceted, so they will deal with fleas, ticks, and some of the worms, and some of the lice as well. Lice are really quite uncommon. You don't see them very often. Fleas all the time, ticks definitely, lice a lot less often. But the products that kill fleas do tend to also kill lice as well. But there's a lot out there. There's a huge number of products out there. Talk to your vet, or talk to somebody like me that's an animal health advisor, and we can go through it all and get you on a program that keeps the problem at bay.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. That's good to know. What if I find a worm after worming? Is that normal?
Well, worming products should be given every 3 months. But what sometimes people don't really understand, or we don't explain it properly, is that the worm products have no residual effect. So you give them the worm treatment, it kills all the worms in their system within 24 hours, and then the product fades away and no longer works. So if your pet then eats something gruesome the next day, for example, the unkillable pigeon that we were talking about earlier, they
There's always
can
one.
reinfest themselves the next day, and there
Oh,
will be nothing in their system at that point that would kill
right.
them. So that is
So
why
it's important to keep that up as well.
definitely,
February.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely. A lot of the life cycles and things are quite extended. So if your pet ate, say, some worm eggs, they wouldn't turn into an adult very, very quickly, but it could take a few weeks before you then saw adult worms. Sometimes if you've given a worming product and you then see worms, you don't know whether they're alive or dead. And sometimes if you see worms, all it means is the product is actually working, it's killed all the worms, and they're just being expelled. But they would have to have really quite a lot of worms for you to see them. It is important to keep on top of worming. There are worms that people can catch. Toxoplasma is one of them. It can cause damage to eyes and it can cause damage to organs. And one of the places that animals get them from is raw meat.
Oh, okay.
There is quite a strong trend at the moment towards people preferring to feed animals raw meat rather than a processed kibble. And we have seen more than one dog that's on a raw diet come in with a quite severe tapeworm infection.
Right.
So raw fed animals,
You have to keep more of an eye on
especially, need worming much more often. So,
Right.
so yeah, 3 monthly, once a month for your fleas, and then every third month a worming treatment to go with it, and that prevents all manner of problems and should keep your pet completely clear of all nasties.
If a client has a dog that bites, can they still take them to the groomers?
Yes, absolutely. We can deal with difficult dogs. We can deal with dogs that have had a bad experience in the past. We would always ask a client to be honest with us and talk to us and work with us. Most people are aware whether if their pet really, really doesn't like grooming, if they've been groomed before and it's not gone well, or if their pet's got a particular fear regarding having their feet touched or regarding having their head touched or their tail. These are all very sensitive areas for animals, and if they've had a bad experience and they don't like it, most owners will be aware. What we would usually suggest is that if they need to wear a muzzle initially, we may ask the owner to pop the muzzle on, and then we would just do very short, positive desensitization sessions whereby your pet just comes to us for a relatively short amount of time, and we just get them used to the process of being handled, being touched, slightly pushing them out of their comfort zone a little bit, but then rewarding them when they allow us to do different things. So we may not do
puppies, isn't it?
yeah,
you know,
we
like bringing a puppy at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we may not do a full haircut all on one go, but we may have them down just for a meet and greet. So they can come in, have a sniff, meet us, say hello, get some treats and go home. And that might be it for the first session. And then the second session, they may stay with us for a bath. So they can just come in for a bath. We can try and keep it all really positive. Again, lots of reward, lots of positive language, lots of treats. And then we may build up to it over a few sessions just to get them used to it. Most animals, given time and patience, will come around. Some will hold on to the fear of a particular thing, such as having their nails trimmed or having their tail lifted. And we may, well into the future, need them to wear a muzzle just for those things. But what we tend to find is that we pop a muzzle on, do their nails, get the horrid bit over with, take the muzzle off, give them a treat and move on, and then they're absolutely fine. But yes, we can work together and we can get around lots of problems. So, and with sort of quiet, calm, repetitive behaviour, we can get around it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's like going to the dentist, isn't it? I always used to like getting a sticker at the end, and then I would go back. So yeah, all about the positive rewards. I think I felt quite worried when I first, because when I got Woody as a puppy, I was a bit like, he's not, because we're not going to be there, and I was quite worried. But he loved the experience. He came to you. I think it was just a bath to begin with. And we brought him in gradually, and
puppy introduction. Yeah, just to get them used to the idea and to hear the dryers and hear the clippers and all of that sort of thing. And as I say, lots of treats and rewards. It's a similar experience to taking a child to nursery, I always think. You know, you don't really know the people, you sort of drop them off and they've been with you every day, and then suddenly they're 2.5 years old and you've got to leave them with someone else, and you have a bit of a moment.
Anxious, you're like, oh, am I going to be all right?
And then they come out smiling and happy with their, you know, with their pictures that they've done and their paintings, and they're all telling you all the good stuff. Yeah, it does boil down to trust, a lot of it, but that's why choosing a groomer that you really like and really know and really trust is important. And we spend a lot of time talking to people about this, and we're very happy to keep the sessions short, and to ring the owners as soon as the pet's ready, and just make it as fun for everyone as we can. So.
And would you have to do anything added if it was a rescue dog or anything like that? Or is it, again, like you say, talking to the owners, again, doing more of what you're, you know?
Yeah, it's a very similar process whereby we just chat with the owners. I try very hard never to groom any dogs with any preconceived ideas. So when people say it's a Romanian rescue, to me, that doesn't actually mean a lot until we've met your pet, because some could have had a horrific experience and a terrible life and be very traumatized by everything. And others will be very normal, very approachable, happy, easygoing, laid back dogs that are completely fine with everything. So we try really hard not to sort of apply labels, but rescue dogs, we would always allow a bit more time, you know, allow a bit more of a process, rather than just assuming that they will be happy with everything. Take it one step at a time and understand we may have to take a couple of steps back. You know, if we start handling their feet and they're not keen, go back to something that they are happy with and then tackle the feet next time. But yeah, rescue dogs and aggressive dogs, we can work with them, but it can take some time, but we're happy to do it.
Yeah. How about plaque on doggies' teeth and cats' teeth and stuff? I mean, is there anything, do we have to look out for anything, or what's that about?
Cleaning your pet's teeth is a little bit like looking after your own teeth. They certainly can get plaque, they certainly can get tartar, they certainly can get decay, and it can, in some breeds, get really bad really quite young. We tend to see it a lot in poodles and poodle crosses and schnauzers and some of the smaller terriers. They really do get quite a build up quite young. The absolute gold standard would be for you to brush your teeth, your pet's teeth, every single day.
Really?
But realistically, most people don't have enough time for that. I certainly don't do my pet's teeth every day, but as part of my Sunday grooming, when they have a bath, I do check and brush their teeth.
Right.
Yes, routine teeth cleaning.
Can that just be a normal toothbrush, or do you go electric?
Well, a normal handheld toothbrush and a good quality doggy toothpaste, if you're going to do it every day, is fine. But we use a teeth cleaning system which goes a little bit deeper. It's like an electric toothbrush. It's called an EmiPet. And it came from a German company that developed an ultrasonic teeth cleaning system for people, called EmiDent, and they realized that it was really good and that it could also be used for animals. So the cleaning that we offer is a bit deeper, and really does only need to be done sort of once a month or once every 6 weeks. It uses millions and millions of waves and bubbles, with a special toothpaste to break down the plaque and the tartar. It's not noisy, there's no vibration, there's no pain, and most animals tolerate it incredibly well. But yeah, a combination of maintenance at home in between with your toothbrush, and then the EmiPet every sort of month or 6 weeks really does keep teeth really, really nice, really healthy. But yeah, teeth cleaning at home does work. I met a lady once who had an 18-year-old Yorkie, and they are renowned for terrible teeth. And she had cleaned his teeth every day of his life, and they were beautiful. Yeah, she got him up every single day. She brushed him and she combed him. And yeah, she bathed him once a week, but she cleaned his teeth and brushed his body and his hair every single day, and his teeth were lovely.
Right, Woody's hiding behind this table, so he's underneath the table at the moment. He's looking everywhere, and he's like, "Mick, I've got to up my game now."
Yeah.
So he's taking notes at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Like us, you know, we clean our teeth twice a day, every day. In a perfect world, we would.
We should do. My kids are a little bit hit and miss sometimes.
We try and persuade the small people to do their teeth every day. But yes, there's a reason. It's part of the routine. It's maintaining it. So rather than letting things get really bad and then trying to sort it out, if you've got a young dog, get them used to it while they're small, and you'll prevent all manner of problems for the future.
Okay, that's really good to know. Okay. Right, and the last question on here from Kirsty is, how do I persuade my dad that grooming is necessary for Labradors? Being a Labrador owner yourself.
Yes. I think with Labradors, the proof is in the pudding. Do it once and see what you think, because I am permanently astonished at the amount of loose hair that we can manually remove from a Labrador's coat, and how much it reduces the shedding and reduces the waves of hair that you find all over your house all the time when you are a glorious Labrador owner. Anybody that has Labradors, or multiple Labradors, for some of us that are really silly, get very, very used to finding a little black hair or a little golden hair in absolutely everything you make or consume. But we really can reduce that a lot with special shampoos, the use of blaster dryers, and then de-shedding tools, which get rid of buckets and buckets and buckets of hair. Find yourself a good groomer and try it. If you're not impressed, I'll be very surprised. But lots of people do bring us their Labradors once a month or so, just for a de-shed and a groom. They smell amazing, they look amazing, their coat is really nice and shiny and light. It looks lovely when you take them out into the sunshine. They really shine and look lovely. But yeah, the lack of shedding is so nice. And having had an older Labrador that shedded a lot, the first week after a groom is bliss. The second week you're still really happy. The third week you're beginning to think, oh, it's getting fuzzy in here again. And then the fourth week you think, must be time to scrub. And then you repeat the cycle. But yeah, it keeps their coat light, it lets their skin breathe. They feel great, look great, smell great, and the shedding is much reduced. We do a lot of Labradors, which people find quite surprising that they would get groomed. But yeah, the reduction in shedding is huge. So I would say try it.
Okay. And clearly 2020 hasn't been the greatest year. Loads of people are losing their jobs, and it's just, well, I can't wait for 2021 and a change in like everything, hopefully.
It has been.
Is there any sort of budget, I don't know, items that people, you know, could be using at home, or any tips, you know, for just doing the basics on a budget at home, or any, I don't know, I just thought it'd be worth asking.
Absolutely. I mean, if I was to put together, if I wasn't a groomer and I put together a home grooming kit, I would have a good quality shampoo, which doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. You can even use baby shampoo if you want to. So you could pick up baby shampoo in Tesco's, which is not expensive, just £1 or so for a bottle. I would give my pet a really, really good bath at home. A little tip is I would do 2 washes with the shampoo. So the first wash to really get rid of the bulk of the grease, and then the second wash to make the coat really squeaky clean. I would have a slicker brush, and I would have a comb, and I would make sure that they were really clean, that they were well brushed through, that they smelt nice, that they felt good. And a lot of that you can do yourself at home. A small pair of scissors may also be useful if you've got a long-haired pet. You can do a little trim around their face just so they can see where they're going. You can do a little
Woody's like that. He's always getting hair around his eyes.
But you can do a little trim around the body just to keep them nice and clean and tidy. You can do a little trim on the bottoms of their feet, and that really would keep you going for quite some time. Just a small trim around the edges and a good deep bath and a good brush to exfoliate the skin and get the oils moving and get the blood flowing. Keeps them happy and healthy and clean. And I think you could definitely buy all of that and put yourself a little kit together for less than £10.
Okay.
It'll last you a long time. You've got sort
Yeah.
of 6 months worth of home grooming with a pet that feels nice and smells good for less than £10. So yeah, I think it can be done.
And my last cutting edge question, BBC
Yeah.
journalists across the land will be like, wow. Is, have you ever seen Jaws? You know that bit in Jaws where they go, that's not a bite, and then they start like showing each other their massive jaws bites all over their bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine groomers to kind of just, I mean, because it's quite a, I imagine you just getting clawed and bitten, and I mean, are you all like, you know, do you suffer injuries day by day?
We all have a few war wounds.
Yes,
between us,
wounds,
yeah, we do have a few cuts and scratches. We have all had a little surprise nibble at some point from a dog. Yes, it does happen. They can surprise you. They are a bit unpredictable. Yeah, I have to say the worst scratches I've ever had haven't been from dogs at all. They've been from cats. So
oh, I thought you were going to say like the owners. No. Oh
my God. No, cats, I'm afraid, are much quicker. Dogs, you learn their body language and you learn to see and feel and listen and hear whether they're happy. Most dogs will tend to give you a little warning rumble. They will tend to stiffen their posture. They will tend to step away from you. They will tend to let you know that they're not happy. And at that opportunity, you can either ask somebody to help you to hold them, or you can pop a muzzle on and avoid quite a lot of the problems. But cats are very quick, and once they've decided they don't like something, they do like to make it well known with teeth and claws in quite a speedy fashion. And all of us that groom cats have been caught out at some point. So yes, all digits still intact. A few little cuts and scratches along the way, which I think really is just part of the territory, but nothing dire. I mean, I have seen some pictures of some rather worrying bites and things that people have endured. But by being mindful, being aware, keeping your eyes open, keeping your ears open, listening, using help, you can avoid a lot of trouble. But yeah, cats can be beasties, but we love them anyway, and it's not that often. So.
Oh, Emma, it's been wonderful chatting to you. And lastly, should we talk about A to Z 2021? Like, is there anything cool in store, or what you're looking forward to in the future?
We've got lots on. We are investing in a new bath, which will be very exciting. So we're investing in what's called a hydro bath.
That sounds cool.
Which also, as well as washing the pet, provides them with quite a nice deep massage through their coat.
Like a jacuzzi for dogs?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh my God, he's so coming along.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, to increase the blood flow to the skin, provide massage to the underlying muscles, to make the whole experience, quite spa-like, which will be nice. We're doing other improvements, so we're having some new flooring put in. We've got a sparkly new cat room, which is nearly finished. We'll do a little tour once all the work is done. We'll do a little tour, but concentrating on our teeth cleaning program, which is going really well. We might be looking at expanding in a small way and possibly looking for an apprentice in the early part of 2021. So lots more to come. But yeah, once it's all finished, we'll put together a little tour video and show everybody. And I think the spa bath will be a real addition, a real treat for the pets. Just make it a bit more luxurious for them, which will be nice. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you. So many top tips. Love chatting to you. And it's always nice, isn't it? And we'll hopefully do this again very soon in real, where we can have a glass of wine.
So nice.
Rather than our coffees.
Yes.
All right.
Choose ourselves a fancy venue and
Yeah,
have a chat next to a roaring fire somewhere. That would be good, wouldn't it?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you
Right.
to you too,
Thanks
Jo.
so
Thank you for
much.
your time.
All
Speak to you again
right.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.